Welcome to Focus on B, the video series where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on, and, well, I think it would be a little bit misleading for me to say that I've got some thoughts, or at least that I have created on my own, of Rayman. Why? Well, I have had plenty of exposure to this game thanks to the internet. However, this right here is my first time ever playing Rayman 1. I've played the life out of Origins. I love that game. Played a lot of Legends too. I did a whole playthrough of Rayman Revolution, and I've played plenty of the original Rayman 2, and also the GBC games as well. But I've never played Rayman 1, and here it is. This is my first time ever playing it, so I guess we're going to be creating some thoughts on the game as we go. What are my general impressions of the game from what I've gathered, just inspecting the game? It's really hard. Everyone says that this game is really, really hard. And I haven't gotten to the hard levels. I've seen plenty of them already. And yeah, they look pretty tricky. And you know what? I think I know why it's so hard. Well, other than the fact that it wasn't play tested. So, one thing that is very common amongst most 2D platformers, in fact 3D platformers as well, is that characters tend to be quite nimble. They tend to move pretty quickly. Not just Sonic. No, I mean, everyone does. Even Mario moves pretty damn fast. Bubsy, Gex even Rayman himself later on starts to move quite quickly. But with this game, this is a very interesting example of a slow and methodical platformer. Rayman does not move all that quickly. His movements, I don't want to say they feel sluggish necessarily. Yeah, I do love the presentation. I'm going to talk about that later though. I wouldn't say he feels sluggish. However, he's not the fastest thing around. You know what I mean? There's a lot of wind up to his animations. There's a lot of weight to his movement. Like, look at his jump, right? He jumps fairly high, but he doesn't jump very far. Hello, Rayman. I'm Batilla the Fairy. Oh, you look way better in Origins. Just saying. I mean, talk about a glow up. But anyway, enough about that game's curious character design choices considering the age range. I mean, holy shit, have you seen some of them? Anyway, yeah, we unlocked the punch. Cool, I guess they want me to... Oh my god, the music is so good here. I've never heard this track before. It's phenomenal. Holy shit. Like, I already knew that the music was great, but that was just passing by, right? I was just under the impression of like, oh, it's got some good music, I'm sure. But I had never actually heard it. This is so fucking clean. Wow, this production is fantastic. Okay, this is going to turn into one of those videos where we're just talking about the music, right? No, I'll try and actually talk about the game, but that blew my mind. I've never heard that track before. That was beautiful. Oh, man. Anyway. So, these right here are the, I think the elect tunes you call them? Right, not the teensies, these are the elect tunes. Basically, you gotta save them to save the world or something. No one really cares about the story. The stories in Rayman games tend to be so all over the place, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, what makes this game difficult is the level design combined with Rayman's own movement. So as you can see, Rayman, he kind of has he's quite relaxed. He doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry to go anywhere, right? He just kind of walks at a very moderate pace, and his jumping is quite limited. He doesn't have a billion different kinds of jumps. He does eventually unlock hover hair, as we all know. But other than that, your movement options... I don't want to say your movement options are completely limited, but you definitely... I would not describe Rayman as an agile character. And that is very, very... I guess I would say counter to your average platformer, especially for the time, right? This was 1995. This was a year after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, right? It was just... Everyone was trying to do that, and this was a very bold move to not do something like this. To not do a Sonic-type game like everyone else was doing. No, Rayman is a wholly unique game, both artistically and gameplay-wise. I cannot think of many platformers, especially from the time period, but even today, we're not talking about cinematic platformers here, I'm talking about traditional platformers that are this relaxed in terms of pacing. And I do believe this game does have at least some say in the creation of a relatively recent trend of games that are very, very difficult but have unsupposing art styles, right? It's kind of it's the whole Cotton Alley theories. You remember Super Meat Boy? Great game, right? You should remember it. Well, that game had a set of levels called Cotton Alley, where it had this cutesy music, right? Well, it wasn't super cutesy. It had a lot of minor key stuff going on, and, you know, just, I'm playing it in my head right now, and I'm just kind of imagining, okay, yeah, I know what it sounds like. Anyway, and it had this really bright and colorful, well, not super colorful, but it was a nice and bright environment, and this art style, which didn't really look like it would be super intimidating. The most intimidating the game gets visually is probably hell, but oh no, it's a PS1 game. You know what that means. Now I have to load. Let's go back in. There you go. And it's kind of unassuming. It's like, okay, this can't be that hard, and then it ends up being the hardest. They end up being the hardest levels in the game, and that's kind of the whole point. And what's funny is this game kind of predates that by a couple decades, because you got these cutesy ass visuals, these beautiful sprites, these very soft and fuzzy backgrounds. They don't look sharp. They almost look like they're anti-aliased, which is incredible because the PS1 didn't really do anti-aliasing. The N64 actually could do anti-aliasing to some extent. Oh, I guess I gotta unlock that move later. Yeah, this is something that I think, don't all Ubisoft games do this now, where it's like, oh, you got a big open world so you can explore in it, but you have to unlock the moves. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game in my life, so I wouldn't actually know. I'm just assuming that's how they're structured. I don't know. I know there's a lot of open world guff. But anyway, yeah, look at how soft that background looks compared to the really sharp foreground assets. Man, it's nice. Absolute eye candy this game has, really. And it's a good thing, too, because it acts as a sort of, what would you call it? Like a nullifier. What the fuck am I supposed to do about this guy? You can't kill him. Oh, you gotta put the thing on his head, right? Dunk. Oh, it doesn't work on him. Then how would you go about taking him out? I mean, obviously I can now... Come on. Wow, I died on the third level. This game really has earned its reputation. I just don't know what to do about him. Like, you can't kill him. Unless maybe I was supposed to charge my punch. I don't remember. Okay, so the collectibles don't stay. I mean, they respawn when you die. We know that. Can you tell I've never played this before? Like, legitimately. How many of the collectibles are gone now, though? Ah, okay. I think there was a cage there, but it's not there anymore. Look at the smear frames on animation. It's fantastic. So, where are we going now? We fall down here, and there he is. But, like, you can't hit him. If you hit him, it just bounces off of him. And he doesn't respond to the plum falling on his head. There doesn't seem to be an exit to this level. I think maybe I'm supposed to come back to the stage at some later point. I didn't check because the open world, the hub world seems to have some kind of open-endedness to it. Now, I wasn't expecting that when it came to the game's progression. I've always thought that Rayman was, at least Rayman 1, was a fully linear game with absolutely zero possibility of, oh my god. Yeah, look, so if I charge my punch and that's gonna hit that thing, try it again. Oh, you can kill him. You just have to fully charge it. I see. Okay, so now we know that. I'm just gonna keep moving through. Play that little jingle theme. It's really, really great. So what else is there really to talk about when it comes to Rayman? So the music is absolutely fantastic. The presentation is gorgeous and still holds up. The gameplay, well, I just talked about the speed of the character. See Rayman because he's not all that fast, but he's so fluid. He's so fluid, man. And I think it's very clever. I think it was an absolutely genius decision on the developer's part to... Oh, okay, I figured that was a bottomless pit. Oh, we're gonna befriend this guy later, spoilers. Anyway, to animate Rayman the way that they did, to design him the way that they did, because something that is very difficult generally when it comes to animation, because I don't do animation a lot, but whenever I need to for some kind of project, it's very tricky, right? It's keeping consistency between the proportions of the limbs. So what did the developers for this game do? Or the artists, at least Michel Ancel, it was just like, nope, he's just not gonna have limbs. And it's so clever because it allows the movement to be so much more, well, it's unnatural fundamentally, but it looks natural to us because of how fluid it is and how much freedom the developers have, the animators have, when it comes to how Rayman moves, right? They can just kind of, when they just have to worry about the appendages and not the limbs, they can really put them wherever and it kind of makes sense. It's a very clever design decision. I love the little animation that plays every time you spawn in. And here we have a little shoot 'em up type stage, it seems. Oh, this is weird. See, again, I've played the hell out of Rayman Origins. So playing this right now, playing this shoot 'em up stage with these controls is really odd because, as you can see, you still use Rayman's typical punching moves. You don't have all those flutes. It's the Alexander Brendan flutes before he started using them. It's amazing. Anyway, but you don't shoot using the mosquito guy himself, and you can't suck stuff up either. You actually just have to punch normally. This is an odd reaction, but oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, you know, oh, wait, what's my save state button? I do not remember. Shit. Let's find out if this works. Ah, okay, I can tell it works. So if I die, I'm not actually gonna die. That's nice. Now, the game isn't all too stingy when it comes to the extra lives, at least at first, from what I can tell. So far, I've amassed quite a few lives, and even after I died a few times, I still have a good number of lives. I've never tried Rayman Redemption, however. See, Rayman Redemption is... Look, Frame Raider, I don't think it's fully accurate to call it Rayman Mania necessarily. That would imply that it takes elements from different Rayman games. Although, well, it kind of does. It has some sound effects from Rayman 2, I believe. Here we have the absolutely phenomenal music again. But from what I can tell, Rayman Redemption is basically just an update to this game with some widescreen and a ton of difficulty balances. Because, see, the thing is about this game is that it wasn't play tested. Now that we are over here and, many, many years later... I can't believe this game is 30 years old, right? Possibly 31 by the time this video is up. We've had plenty of time to play test it ourselves. And so because of that, are we going to move on to Music Land? That's what it seems like it. Damn, I didn't expect to get to Bandland that quickly. Okay, cool. Well, let's go to Bianco Hills from Super Mario Sunshine. That's actually how a piano works. I'm very happy about that. Sometimes they'll draw pianos wrong. Oh god, no, it's the slippery level. Shit. Although the music is, once again, just delightful as hell. I wonder when we're going to unlock the helicopter here. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so since we've had so much time to test the game ourselves, we know better than developers themselves how to balance the difficulty, so to speak. Can I not even crawl? No. Oh. I have to... That is weird. I've never done that before. I have to hold down R2 or L... Okay, so you hold down and you hit L1 and R1 to crawl left and right. I never in a million years thought that that would be how you would set up a crawling scheme in a game. But okay, I guess we're gonna do that. That's a bit of an inconsistency. Did you see that? You got clouds that bounce and clouds that don't bounce, that just move up and down linearly. I'm not sure that's not a very good choice. They should have made them different colored or something. Because now, you're always going to have that. You're going to be a little hesitant as to whether or not, okay, will this cloud be bouncy or will it not be bouncy? I'm going to assume I can go down there. Yes, I can. Okay, the player should never have to make leaps of faith like that. Like, here's the thing. Rayman 1, while I've generally developed the impression that this is one of those games that is actually masterfully crafted, but still really, really hard, I wouldn't necessarily agree. I mean, just by playing the game for a few minutes, I'm exposing a couple of design flaws. I can't say that I'm the arbiter of game design or anything. I mean, you make 8 games in Godot and you consider... Oh, maybe I've made more by the time this video is up, but still, you consider yourself a game guru? No. I don't think that I have much of a say in what is actually good or bad game design. However, there are some things that I do feel could be better communicated. Now, I guess I can cut the game some slack. It is 31 years old, or 30 years old, whatever. So I can't really say that, okay, they should have seen these things coming. They should have known about how we would perceive games in the future. But at the same time, you gotta understand that 2D platformers by this point had already been an established tried and true genre. This isn't like a first-person shooter of the mid-90s. Or even a 3D platformer of this time. Absolutely not. It's a 2D platformer. As you can tell, visually, at this point, we had already achieved a mastery of presentation. This game will never age. Look at it. Like, for as charming as Rayman 2 is, and how great its art style is, it's definitely aged visually. Even Rayman Revolution doesn't really... Okay, see that too? The fact that some clouds fall, others don't. That's really annoying. Or this one, they really should have made them maybe given them a slightly different shapes, colored them differently, made them different sizes, something. Because now I'm never 100% certain as to what the cloud is going to do once I step on it. That's how the state of this game suffers. See, look at that. What the fuck? How was I supposed to know those guys would fall? I mean, I guess I do know now. Although, look, notice how they have them falling over spikes. That is also typically not something you would do in conventional game design, presenting a hazard in a dangerous environment. You would first introduce the hazard in a safe environment, and then have the player interact with it in a dangerous environment. So it's odd to me that they're just straight up having you deal with these things for the first time in the entire game, because this is my first time playing the game. Like, this is an honest, like, first reaction to all this stuff. And yeah, I really wasn't expecting them to do these things this way. Now, there's no way around that, right? Hold on. I'm going to assume this will kill me. It does. Okay. I love his death sound effect. It's just a hiccup. That's hilarious. Ow. Actually, that's just his damage sound. Ooh, man. The ledge grab does feel very... For fuck's sake. The ledge grab feels great. I actually kind of wish they handled it this way in Rayman Origins as well, because in future Rayman games, I remember it being a little slower. Did he even have a ledge grab in Origins? It hasn't been that long since I last played it. Ah, man. I think I'm going to do a video on that game eventually. I've got the thumbnail ready for it. Oh my god. Okay. Fortunately, those are not instant... Well, they seem to kind of be, because he does have a separate death animation. Again, these are just some honest impressions. This is a bit of a subversion of my typical Focus on B episode, because usually I'll have a bunch of thoughts already established for a game because I've played it a ton. I've never played this game before. So... this is just so raw and weird. I'm kind of collecting my thoughts as I go. Wow, that is such a tight jump. I see. Yes, this game has absolutely earned its reputation. It also kind of sucks in order to see the true ending. Allegedly, you have to collect all of the Electoons, which I've never been a fan of the whole, you know, you have to get all of the stuff that seems like it's optional to get to the very end. Now, ultimately, there's a part of me that doesn't really care about that. There's that rational part of me that understands that, well, at that point, you've already played most of the game, you've seen most of the content, it's not as if you're really missing out. But there's also the irrational part, the part that demands a solid, a satisfying... What the fuck do I do at this point? Can I fall through this? Well, no. You know, the part of me that demands a satisfying ending, like we all do. So being refused a satisfying ending due to arbitrary collectibles, I can imagine that not being the best feeling, right? Not that it's... Okay, what am I supposed to do now? Oh, wow, that is mean. That is some evil level design. So you gotta go down here, under the 8th note. Oh, I figured that's where you have to go. I can't get rid of these. Maybe I can punch them away? No. Rayman cannot punch them away. I guess I have to get... Oh, I know what they want me to do. They want me to ride on this thing and then jump... Yeah. Then they want... Oh, shit, I hit the load state button. No. Wait, but look, there's nothing underneath there. So even if I do this and then I crawl underneath, I just die. Wow, okay. You see why I would have not done a Let's Play on this game. I mean, I quit Let's Plays altogether, but... Oh, don't tell me that they expect me to ride... What the hell did they expect me to do at this point? I'm completely stuck. You can't punch this thing. You can't interact with this background element whatsoever. You can't hit that thing on top. You can't punch the eyes from what I can tell. You can't fall down. Huh. So... I've reached my first getting stuck point. Unless maybe I'm supposed to go down here? No, why would they put that there then? Wow, okay, this is great. This is actually a fantastic little experiment. You know, when... Oh, of course that's what I had to do, and... Oh, no. Wow, it's... I really was not expecting the game to become evil difficult this early on. This is tough. Okay, hold on, let's try it. No, it's not too bad. Oh, God. That's a really clever way to do the checkpoint. And I like how it's implying that there's probably a massive schlong back there. But anyway... Yeah, no, so first impressions of Rayman, beautiful game, absolutely gorgeous. I think overall its game design is quite good. It's just very, it demands more of the player. It feels like every single level in this game was designed to be the second level of a series of levels. As if you're already familiar with a certain number of mechanics, and now they have you using them after you've become familiar. It's kind of a weird way to do it. I'm not sure how much of this can be attributed to age. I don't think we can excuse that, because a lot of games, even older than this, don't have these kind of problems. They will typically introduce mechanics in a way that makes it's a little bit easier to get into. I don't know. I gotta say, this game definitely deserves not just its reputation, but its following. The, Redemption remake that it received, that's a very good one, too. And I just... God damn it, Ubisoft. I want more Rayman, okay? I mean, on one hand, I guess I'm kind of glad that Rayman is a series with, well, quote-unquote integrity, right? As in, they haven't milked him to death like they have Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and all that. So I guess I should be happy about that, because think about it. Imagine an alternate universe where we have 1 billion Rayman games and people just don't want to fucking see any more Rayman. It's like, stop with the Rayman, damn it. It's hard to imagine, but that could exist. So, in some way, I guess maybe this is the better outcome, to just give them a couple of games that are all good in their own way. I would have to say that Rayman 1 might be my least favorite, although I've never actually played Rayman Free, ever. Maybe that would... Well, no, Rayman Free isn't a bad game in any way, from what I can tell. It's not quite as... It's nowhere near as beloved as Rayman 2, but still, in Origins and Legends, there's nothing really more that I could say about that, right? And then he was in that Mario Rabbids thing. Whatever. Anyway, that's gonna do it for Focus on B, the video series, where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that, in this case, I have just developed my thoughts on. And this has been Rayman 1995, PlayStation 1, Jaguar, and PC.